Kieran? Siobhan? That is you.
Dead bodies, shootouts, people getting stabbed. We never really went to school, but I never knew what I was gonna get into. It was gonna be as crazy as what I'm about to tell you.
I'm trying to get the, is that what you, yeah, I know. What?
You may see poverty, you may see drug dealers, you may see gangbangers, if you want to call them, hoodlums or whatever you may see. When I look around Roxbury, I see home. This is where I grew up at. To us, we were just kids hanging around and having fun and doing what we thought kids should be doing. To everybody else, we were known as a gang. That was from Wildwood Street.
Shotty knew his deal was to play football. He was gonna do well. Mom, I'm gonna do well. I'm gonna be a football player. Okay. Well, you gotta stop hanging with these kids. You gotta stop doing this. Every time I turned around, the school was calling. I'm like, gee, Shotty, what's going on with you? You wasn't a bad kid ever. What's going on? He was hanging out with kids that was robbing, stealing, and trying to sell drugs. And I seen it. I'm from the street. I've been in the street, so I knew it, you know? So it really was disappointing.
After my mom started to see all the bad stuff that was going on in Wildwood, she didn't want me around. At that point in time, you can see stuff is from crackheads walking down the street. You could see people smoking weed, selling drugs, fights always happening, police pulling people over every corner. And at me being that young, I thought it was cool and fun to see all that, but my mom knew that I wasn't supposed to be around it and didn't want me around it.
But Keshaudas found a place where the temptations of the neighborhood didn't seem so scary or dangerous. Keshaudas found football.
I remember like it was yesterday. I was outside hanging around with my friends and my mom. She got me in a Pop Warner. I ended up playing for the Boston Raiders. My mom had to work a lot, so my grandfather took me. And I still remember the first day when we first put on pads. I made a tackle. I wasn't hurt, but I just started crying because of the loud noise that came from when pads collide. And I ran over to my grandfather and he was just like, what's wrong? Like, are you hurt? Are you scared? Are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not hurt. He's like, are you scared? I'm like, a little bit. And he was like, it's all right, get back in there. So I went back in and it was all you wrote. That was history from there on out.
Keshaudas fell in love with the game. It became his passion. He played running back and dominated on the field of Catholic Memorial High School. He earned a full scholarship to a prep school in Connecticut, but before leaving for prep school, Keshaudas fell victim to the streets one last time.
My friend had threw like a graduation party from high school and everybody was moving on, so we were having a great time, we had fun. A fought had broke out in the front of the house, so the parents were telling everybody that they had to leave. Me and my friends stuck closely together. We were like in a huddle and a group of people around us. We were just trying to get out. There were a couple drinks that spilled, so I figured that what I felt on my back, it would just end up being somebody's drink spilled on me. Once I touched the back of my shirt, I noticed that it was warm, and when I looked at it, I had nothing but red blood on my fingers.
Keshaudas had been stabbed at the party and needed to be rushed to the hospital.
I ended up getting 3 staples in my back. The doctor told me that, I'll be all right. They told me my back muscles were so big that it stopped the knife from touching my pancreas. I think it was about this small away from my pancreas. The main question I asked was, will I be able to still play football? The doctors told me I would be fine, but I just can't get into any more situations like this, or, it might not be, can I play football anymore? It may be, is Keshaudas alive?
Well, I found out that my son was in the hospital. I got a phone call. I did not know what happened. I didn't know if he was shot, stabbed, or what. So I'm like, oh my God, oh Jesus, I'm freaking out. I'm trying to get to the hospital. I get to the hospital, and they told me that he had got stabbed. So I walked in there, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you trying to kill yourself? What? You don't want to live? Like, what is it? What is it? What's going on with you? You're acting up. What's going on? And he just started crying.
I was more disappointed than I was sad because I just thought about how my mom had to go through my father getting stabbed and the things that he went through and almost losing him. And then basically me just throwing it right in her face as if I didn't care and just going out being a knucklehead. That also was a wake-up call for me.
Keshaudas had to recover quickly as he was due at Taft Prep in Watertown, Connecticut.
When I got to Taft, it seemed like I was in a movie for a bit because I just wasn't used to how big the schools were and I wasn't used to everybody living on campus. And I knew that I couldn't tell them I got stabbed because they probably would just look at me as another kid from the hood that didn't want to get out. I still had staples in my back. My coach asked me what happened, but I just told him like I fell doing being clumsy or something like that, and a glass shard had got stuck in my back, so he didn't think nothing of it.
It was just a big, beautiful, look like castle mansion to me. And I looked around and I seen all the kids there. They was happy. They was sitting out on the lawn. I was like, this is where he needed to be. I was happy. I didn't have to worry about police. I didn't have to worry about nothing.
Keshaudas was playing some of the best football of his life. His first game alone, he ran for 120 yards and 2 TDs. That trend would continue. But prep school isn't all football. Academics are important too.
So Taft is one of the top 15 boarding schools in the United States. So academically, it's a really rigorous education. At Taft, there's a lot of structure. Study halls every night from 8 to 10 o'clock. You have to check in at the dorm at 8 o'clock. You have 10:15 check-in on the floor, 11:30 lights out. The Wi-Fi shuts off at 12. And you're very structured in your day.
When I got to school, I noticed that the teachers and that the work that I was doing was way harder than any work I've done in any Boston public school system. I noticed that the teachers were way stricter than any teachers in the Boston public school system. And I noticed that my writing skills was nowhere near I thought they would be.
So the honor code at Taft is really something that is core to our school. The kids actually, every exam or every paper that they hand in, they have to write, I pledge my honor that I have neither given nor received aid on this examination. So really everything they do is framed in the, this is my work, this is something that I did and put forth. And that kind of carries over to the dorm as well, where kids don't really lock their doors here. There's a real sense of honor, and that's one of the few things that you cannot do at Taft. You cannot cheat, you can't, or you'll be asked to leave.
So I got in trouble there. I got caught for cheating. Yeah, I guess I'm still bad. I got caught for cheating, and coming out of high school, all your friends and you cheat, you don't think it's that bad because you get away with it so much. But when I got to Taft, it was definitely different, and they took it very serious. I got in trouble, which ended up leading me to have to withdraw from Taft. The only thing I can remember from that situation that day was having to call my mom and tell her again that I had messed up and I got kicked out of school.
Lucky for Keshaudas Spence, Coach Tyler Whitley believes in second chances.
I was the graduate assistant, the running backs coach for Sacred Heart. So my first year when I came in as a grad assistant, I was given a couple different places to recruit, and the Connecticut prep schools was one of the areas that I was recruiting, obviously because I went to Taft and I went to the prep schools and had some connections there.
He was like, I would like for your son. I'm coming down to Boston. I would like to meet with you and your son. I would like for him to play for my school. I said, how bad do you want him? He was like, I want him. I said, you better get him before I kill him.
Kind of jumped off the screen right away that he was super aggressive, physical player, ran well for someone his size. He was physically stronger and bigger than a lot of the players he was playing against. The first couple clips, watching him run the ball, you knew he was pretty special.
At Division I Sacred Heart University, Keshaudas did him proud. In 4 years, he ran for over 3,700 yards, scored 30 touchdowns, won Offensive Player of the Year, was a preseason All-American, was named a Walter Payton Award finalist, and was a member of 2 conference championships. After graduation, Keshaudas was invited to 3 NFL minicamps, but ultimately signed a contract in the Indoor Football League with the Cedar Rapids Titans, officially leaving the street life behind.
In my mind, I've made it. I'm chasing my dream. following everything that I wanted to. And for all kids across the world, no matter where you come from or what you go through, you don't have to be shackled. You can make it.